How's it going, everybody? So in this video, I want to talk about my recent experiences with Reishi mushroom. And in particular, I'm using a hot water extracted Reishi mushroom from the fruiting bodies. I've been using Reishi mushroom on and off for a number of years. I would say over 4 years now. I've been experimenting with different extracts of Reishi mushroom with lesser experiments of lesser significance in the past. So, recently I started experimenting heavily with Reishi with a more dedicated experiment. Those of you who've been following me for a while know that I've been training for jiu-jitsu tournaments this year. And so I've been keeping my herbal routines and my diet routines more catered to sports performance. So I have been removing any kind of possible herb that either I don't know what to expect or that might interfere with my sports performance. I've been sticking only to the mostly dopamine boosting, kind of testosterone optimizing, endurance enhancing, aggressive herbs and supplements so that I can, attack my athletic practice with as much intensity as I can. But, so I had done a dedicated experiment to Reishi in December, and I don't know what it was exactly, but something I was doing combined with the Reishi mushroom at the same time made me feel like just an overall intense feeling of health. I just felt really healthy and really clear, but also still motivated at the same time. So I still haven't been able to replicate that, so I'm not sure what it was. I think it might have actually been the specific gynostemma I was taking at the same time. Probably the other thing is the enhanced sleep I had gotten during the time. But anyway, I was feeling great. So in February, I added Reishi back, and I was trying to fix my sleep because my sleep was down the drain. But I didn't really feel the effects of my sleep deprivation for a while because I was on such an amazing kind of herbal routine. And I kind of made a video explaining how you could still feel kind of like bulletproof and superhuman, even on low sleep. But the fact of the matter is you should not be skipping out on sleep, especially not, a whole week with virtually zero sleep like I was doing. Not only should you not be skipping on that much sleep, but you shouldn't be skipping on that much sleep and then feeling like a god. But for some reason I was. So I decided to add Reishi back in my routine to see if it could help to balance out whatever yang energy imbalance I was experiencing. So Reishi has been a strange kind of experience because it can be hit or miss. And it depends on the dose, it depends on the extract, and it depends on where you're at in your life. So here's kind of what I've found. Reishi mushroom has an unparalleled ability to really calm your mind, to calm your nervous system, and to calm your body. It is absolute. So it's a calming herb. It's not even an herb. It's a mushroom. It's a living organism, but it's closer to a fungi. But it's also an energizing herb. But the quality of energy that you get from Reishi is a very rare quality. It's a very rare shade of energy. And I recently gave one of my friends, my friend Melissa, who you've seen in some of the videos that I've made with her, gave her some Reishi, the same dose that I normally take in the morning. And it looked like it almost put her to sleep. She said she was feeling overwhelmingly chill. And it seemed like she wanted to take a nap or something. But we were actually, Reishi can have different effects for different people. And also when you first take Reishi, your body is brand new to your body. So it's probably much more overwhelming. And that's something I never really took into account when I first started. Because when I first started taking Reishi, I took the highest potency extract I can find. Hyperion herbs, and it's like a 10-to-1 extract, and it was a dole extract at the time. And that, man, it kind of it made me have good sleep, but it also kind of added this gloomy property to my personality where I felt about like a feelings of sentimental kind of reflection and like very sentimental, kind of gloomy on the inside, losing my motivation and my drive and my aggression and dampening my libido pretty significantly. And again, I made videos kind of debating on whether reishi ruins the libido, whether it's a DHT dampening effect. But that was with a dual extract that included a higher concentration of triterpenes, damn it, whatever, which can have an effect of that nature. But anyway, so recently when I took reishi, so apparently this is a hot water extract now. It's the OG Hyperion Herbs reishi, one that I had never tried before because they had two different types. A lot of people don't know that. They had a dual extract that I had kind of strange effects from. It was kind of like hit or miss. And now they have a hot water extract. And so this hot water extract, still like a 10-to-1 as far as I'm aware, but it doesn't have the ethanol extraction. Anyway, I felt just kind of like a very strong calming of the mind and kind of like taking that head energy and bringing it down into the heart. That's like how I would describe how it feels. Definitely not by any means meant scientific. Helps me see things more clearly. Like when I took that new like OG Hyperion Herbs hot water reishi, it seems to make me see reality more for what it is. And I guess it kind of removes resistance, is what I kind of describe it as. It removed the resistance of me cleaning my house, for example. Instead of procrastinating, knowing I need to do it in the back of my head, but just like not feeling it, it kind of just made me like, all right, I'm going to go clean my house now. And it's hard to describe. It's not like a strong like motivational feeling. It's not like a thought or a strong feeling. It's just like I'm living my life, and it just removes the resistance is all it does. To where it makes cleaning my house feel just like it's nothing. And that's kind of like a general theme of reishi, which is interesting. It makes me like it kind of removes like that strong emotional weight is what I describe it as. It helps me see reality without like that emotional attachment, which is amazing. So that means it can really kind of fade feelings of aggression. It can fade feelings of like fragility, like when someone says something bad about you and you hear them say it. Usually, I mean, this is also kind of something I practiced over the last decade. Is I practiced being emotionally detached from my external circumstances and especially what people think about me. But it's on an energetic level, reishi kind of like helps detach those emotional knee-jerk reactions for you, at least in my experience. And everyone's going to have a different experience. So where someone might be dogging the crap at, like someone might be ragging on me, but it only registers rationally and consciously. It doesn't like tick any emotions in me, which is amazing. To where I see it through the lens of wisdom rather than the lens of emotions. And that's how I would describe the effects of reishi. Seeing things through the lens of wisdom rather than emotions. Now, I have to say, though, the Hyperion Herbs dual extract, which, as far as I'm aware, they changed suppliers recently. Haven't updated the website, but they should, because this reishi is way better. But that dual extract with a higher concentration of triterpenes or whatever, triterpenes, I did feel more in my feels. It was more of a sad, gloomy feeling, though. But it was also like, it was more like, I guess it was just really strong, because like the previous form, I was like a tea, I was like soaking in a bathtub full of reality, which was not good. This is more so just like, hey, bro, this is how things are. What do you want to do about them? You know, this is just the good reishi that I like, hot water extracted. Just helps me see things for what it is, removes resistance, removes blockages. Like it like allows my energy to move more freely. It removes blockages. Is kind of what I feel. Whereas that previous one, man, I just felt like it was too much in my feels, but in like a lower grade, gloomy type of way. But this allows me to maintain my drive, and you know, it just keeps me neutral, if that makes sense. So I really, really like it. It makes me feel just naturally meditative. So I'm a huge, huge fan of this hot water extracted reishi extract. Okay, so there's some cons though. So it slows the mind down, not in a bad way, not in like, oh, I'm so slow, I am, not intelligent anymore or something. Well, basically, it helps the mind flow better, but definitely like calms the monkey mind. But so if you're an athlete and you're like trying to do high intensity sparring, for example, and this has been an experience of mine. So it's interesting because it slows reality down for me, which is interesting. So I'll be like rolling with someone and they'll be going 100%. And usually when the harder someone else goes, the more calm I try to be, because matching their intensity, well, you kind of got to a certain degree, especially if you're striking. But it's better to like stay a little bit calmer than the other person, just because the other person's going to make mistakes. And if you're like trying to get more aggressive than the other person who's already aggressive, it's going to be a battle of who makes the most mistakes. And so for me, I like to stay calm and look for openings. And the more aggressive and harder the other person goes, the calmer I try to be, so that no anxiety sets in, like, oh shit, because that can be detrimental. But number two, I can see openings that they're creating simply because they're trying too hard. So I'll try less. Anyway, Reishi helps me stay calm under that pressure. Where like my opponent's like trying to take my head off or something, in jiu-jitsu specifically, because striking's different. And I can take my time. I can stay patient, and like they're getting frustrated because they're like, I can't pass this guy's guard. And so they make mistakes, and then Reishi helps me not only stay patient to where I can actually hold them in areas enough to make those opportunities present themselves, so they'll make a mistake because they'll get impatient and they'll rush the process and try getting desperate. But my mind is so calm that I can see these openings more efficiently. So Reishi helps me think under pressure. It like slows the intensity down in my mind, which is great. And it's great for me because I know what's going on. Now, my coaches in the background, depending on where I'm training and who's coaching me, they might be yelling like, oh my God, Wolfgang, you need to be more aggressive, or Wolfgang pass the guard, or Wolfgang do this, or Wolfgang do that. And I'll hear them, but I'm not going to just like go for it without the right timing, because then you'll get swept, and it's like, well, do you really want to practice that bad habit, or you want to practice that disparity? So Reishi helps to prevent the anxiety, helps to slow things down, and it helps you to kind of to take the right actions at the right time. But ultimately, I have actually found I've been way more productive. So it's amazing how Reishi kind of it kind of makes the mind flow better. It does slow the mind down, but maybe that's because my mind is always racing like crazy. I typically have a very hardcore monkey mind, which is why I guess I'm able to make all these videos a lot of the time. But my mind can be so fast that I can't even hear what my mind is saying. And so you could do the action of meditation, or you could take Reishi, and Reishi can help do that for you. But the best of both worlds is to combine the two. So for me, I generally have a meditative demeanor, as long as I'm not super buffed up with a bunch of stimulating herbs or caffeine or compounds, despite my monkey mind. Now, taking Reishi just completely, it's like a meditation on steroids. It's amazing. So I don't really think that I do not think Reishi is a good thing for hard training. I found it's hard to kind of reach that high intensity with Reishi because Reishi makes my body and my mind. It makes me wants to pay attention. It makes me want to observe. It makes me want to reflect. It's good, I think, for learning. It's amazing for learning. That's probably its number one thing. And it's amazing for spiritual cultivation. But as far as like being an athlete, I think it's, I don't know if I'd say it's counterproductive, but I think someone that doesn't have the experience with meditative practices or with the odyssey of the mind, like they haven't done a lot of like mental, like mind development or awareness work or mindfulness work, and those who are new to herbs should not be taking Reishi if they're like trying to go hard with as an athlete. But at the same time, there have been studies that showed Reishi combined with cordyceps drastically improve the testosterone to cortisol ratio, meaning that their testosterone levels go up and their cortisol levels go down, and that's a sign of improved recovery and adaptations from training. Because high cortisol to testosterone, actually, where cortisol is too high and testosterone goes down, is a sign of overtraining syndrome. So that's interesting, and there's also studies showing Reishi improves your endurance times. So I think it's up for experimentation. That's exactly the reason why I did it. But if you want to have like a high energy and get pumped up for things, Rishi's not what you need. Okay. So I have found like I can go to the gym and I can do my training, whether it's jiu-jitsu or powerlifting, but I don't feel that strong, like I'm going to kill things type of feeling. It kind of more so just makes me neutral, which is interesting. So mentally and cognitively, from like a mental performance and a mental health standpoint, I think Reishi is like top of the top. It's exactly the herb you want to be taking if you're on a mental odyssey, which is my way of kind of explaining the journey of self-actualization, self-development, and being a student of life. If you go on a date with someone, taking Reishi is a good idea because it'll help remove the rose-colored glasses. It'll help you be more present with the person. For the most part, depends. If you are trying to like learn new skills and you're not trying to spar hard and you're trying to see your own mistakes and develop, I think Reishi can be a good ally. But if you're in a fight camp preparing for a tournament, I think it's the exact opposite of what you need. In that case, if you're like trying to fight or whatever, you probably want to be doing cordyceps, maca. You probably want to be doing tyrosine. You want to be doing, maybe mucuna prurens. Did I say pine pollen? You want to be doing more aggressive kind of dopamine boosting, testosterone boosting stuff. I think nettle root is actually next on my radar as far as, the next dedicated experiment. Because I suspect nettle root's one of the most powerful. So Reishi is amazing for boosting sleep, for improving digestion. I find it just regulates digestion. And that's something coming from me, considering I understand digestion is mostly nutrition related. I would normally put my weight in, like if you have bad digestion, for example, or a digestive illness, normally I would say, well, look, you probably have food intolerances. How many nuts or seeds are you consuming? What about, whole grains? A lot of people just need to stop with all that fiber. People ask me, what about supplements for digestion? It's like, well, how about you just eat, change your diet to a diet that is easier to digest? Because people are brainwashed into thinking everything needs to be whole grains and beans and nuts and stuff. Even though their own body is poorly, you can't really digest that on your own. That's why you need bacteria in your intestine, and that's what farting is. However, and so people be like, oh, what about probiotics and enzymes? Okay, well, look, if you need to add enzymes to your freaking body because your own enzyme production is not enough, then there's something severely wrong, and it's not a good idea to just like rely on the Band-Aid of enzyme supplements. But I've used them. When I want to eat a lot of food at a buffet, taking enzyme supplements alongside the buffet meal, I can probably eat double the food, which is amazing. So it helps. Probiotics, I've seen no benefit from. Enzyme supplements, yeah. Probiotics, no. But Reishi, I think it does something special that I don't really want to say yet because I'm not quite sure. So anyway, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to continue this dedicated Reishi experiment. I think I'm probably going to, because right now I'm running out of my rhodiola crenulata. And rhodiola crenulata it's a special form of rhodiola. It's different from the normal rosea people take, where it has a higher concentration of salicylserides with no rosavins, which the rosea form has. And basically, I noticed if I take a teaspoon of the crenulata, which is supposedly like 100 times the regular dose or something, I notice I have really good sleep. However, I've also been taking Reishi alongside of it, about a tablespoon of the Terrasol 4-to-1 hot water extract. So right now, I'm trying to determine, is it the rhodiola crenulata that's helping me sleep, or is it the Reishi 4-to-1 extract? So tonight, I'm actually just going to try my normal dose of rhodiola crenulata and see if that puts me to sleep. And if it doesn't, then it's probably the Reishi. So I'm going to double up on the Reishi and see how that goes. And so probably, if not starting this Friday, probably starting on the following Monday, probably next week, sometime soon, I am going to focus in on nettle root extract and taking a moderate dose of things like pine pollen and things that optimize male hormones. And I'm going to see what happens there. Chances are, if I do that, I'm going to have to figure out whatever. I'm going to remove the Reishi probably, because there's just that kind of there's that possibility that Reishi might mess with DHT. And I just there's no real human evidence for it yet, but just to make sure I'm doing everything properly, I'll see. Because Reishi supposedly is a weak 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, specifically the triterpenes that I mentioned in the ethanol extract earlier, which the hot water extracts don't have. And 5-alpha reductase, mostly, if I remember correctly, is an enzyme responsible for converting free testosterone into DHT. And so if you take a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, it can cause free testosterone to build up and prevent it from turning into DHT. So you have less DHT and more free testosterone and more total testosterone because of the 5-alpha reductase inhibition supposedly from Reishi. Now, if I take nettle root on top of that, nettle root, supposedly, the root, not the leaf. The leaf, don't do that because you'll just be pissing all the time. But nettle root is supposed to it's supposed to inhibit sex hormone binding globulin. And so what that would look like is, so sex hormone binding globulin comes in and it binds to free testosterone and other hormones like estrogen, and it makes them unusable. So you can have a really high total testosterone, but if sex hormone binding globulin is high, that can actually make your free testosterone very low. And you want more free testosterone. That's the form that really mostly matters. So I don't think I want to do nettle root and, I don't want to inhibit sex hormone binding globulin and 5-alpha reductase into DHT, because then I'll just have a bunch of free testosterone build up. And it's like, that might be cool, but DHT is the aggressive male hormone that really is supposedly more powerful, they say, of an androgen than free testosterone. But in reality, that doesn't actually make sense. What it really means is DHT is responsible for a lot more processes that are pro-androgenic, so to speak. Aggression and fighting and like muscle building and hair loss. And make no mistake, DHT is at the level of the follicle is a primary mechanism involved in male pattern baldness. So maybe I need more reishi, right? But yeah, so when I get my nettle root extract, my good stuff from Hyperion Herbs, then I will use that because I think that it really helps to boost athletic performance, motivation, and mood. Something I was doing leading up to my tournament was like making me feel like bulletproof and just amazing. And then after my tournament, I mixed a couple things up. I think it's mostly just adding in the reishi. I added ashwagandha too. That was a mess. So I don't know what it was. So I'm trying to recreate it. I tried the Polyrhacus ant again because that's something I was using. And that's good and all. It seems to boost my power production, but it doesn't give me the same boost in mood and stuff. So we'll see. I'll keep y'all updated. Let me know down below what y'all think. Have y'all tried reishi? Have y'all tried nettle root? And ask me your questions so I can make a video specifically answering your question. I'll talk to y'all next time.